This is the Thompson Cast. I am Mel Thompson. In a recent podcast, I discussed how Ethiopia is turning into a place that at one time was never even thought of for foreign direct investment, but now is becoming more of a target of large firms that want to try to expand their markets. What has happened is that the Ethiopian prime minister was not publicly seen for quite some period of time. There were rumors regarding his health. And anything like this where a head of government is in a place that's unknown or there are rumors, there's always a huge political risk because you don't know what would happen to trade and investment policies if the government were to change by the person's removal from office or death. Unfortunately, the Ethiopian Prime Minister Meles Zenawi died, and I believe yesterday. And now the issue is all of the foreign direct investors who had been rushing into Ethiopia, all of the preparation, all of the things that have been set up under the terms established by his government, are they going to change? Or the best thing is to have them not change, but have somebody tell us they're not going to change. Let's have some indication, or even if it's they are going to change in some way, some degree of indication needs to be given to foreign direct investors and businesses so they can plan accordingly. This is like an election, which I've spoken about in the past. Now, I'm a firm believer in democracy. I vote in every election I possibly can in the United States, and I can see no harm in exercising democratic rule or power, and that includes protests as long as they're peaceful and no one gets hurt. My issue with elections, from a political risk standpoint, is that you don't know if the policy is going to change, and the unknown changes is what the political risk is, not the democracy in and of itself. In this case, something may change because the head of government is gone, and we don't know exactly what that change is going to be, if any, and we don't know who's going to be, calling the shots in some of these lower level market entry levels of the government that basically are the front door to foreign direct investment. The most important thing is to not over speculate in a case like this. I would say the worst thing you can do is overreact, over speculate, but that doesn't apply to getting insurance. If you can somehow find your way clear to increase your political risk insurance, then that's usually never a bad idea, considering the head of the government of a country you may have a foreign direct investment in has just died. So the biggest political risk is the unknown policy changes that may occur now that the prime minister has died. As far as policies that would be aimed at the United States in an adverse way, I really don't see that. Mills was known as an ally of the United States against terrorism. In 2006, Ethiopian troops were in Somalia fighting terrorists, and they have done as much as they can do, meaning Ethiopia, under Meles to combat terrorism. I don't foresee his death causing a dramatic government shift against the United States in any type of ideological way that would raise additional red flags regarding direct foreign investment. However, the red flag's already been raised, since we don't know how the government is going to solidify current policies now that Meles is dead. And the other thing that should be remembered about Meles' time as prime minister is that there was a serious political challenge to him in the 2005 elections, and opposition parties claimed that he rigged the vote to be reelected. And there was some post-election violence. And when I say post-election violence, I'm not talking about peaceful protests. I'm talking 200 people died. My concern is that his death could trigger something like this: instability that could possibly cause people to take to the streets, or protests that become violent or look similar to this that occur that cause instability are a huge political risk. No one is thinking about your foreign direct investment if there are protests in the streets and cars are getting overturned. Nor is anyone thinking about your foreign direct investment if there is internal rumblings of government takeovers and the whole system of democracy start to collapse on itself. Do I foresee this definitely happening? No. Is there a possibility? Anytime you have opposition parties that take to the streets and 200 people die in a country, there's always a possibility that the government is going to collapse. And now you have the added element of the head of that government dying. Somebody or some group may see an opening. Hopefully, the democracy in and of itself has taken hold in Ethiopia to the point where they will be dissuaded, because they will feel that there's no way anyone will accept what we're trying to do. I do foresee possibly some protest. I do foresee possibly some damage to brick and mortar investments, but the overall violence and tension that we saw in 2005 is something that I cannot predict whether it's going to occur now with any degree of certainty. I would just say be very, very cautious, because that is a part of the past. And once again, now you have the added element of the head of government no longer being with us. Now, also, in the most recent elections in 2010, one of the parties, EPRDF, and its allies took all but one seat in parliament. And once again, there was more fraud being floated out there as an accusation. This is only 2 years ago. So you can see where this is going. That's my main concern. That's the biggest political risk. Civil unrest. And I think there's a chance of it. I believe that Ethiopia is not quite yet on a firm democracy where something couldn't happen to disrupt the democratic form of government. And I think that a combination of things could. Obviously, the death of Meles, and also the past history of civil unrest based upon accusations of fraud, that if rejuvenated by opposition leaders in the wake of this death, could cause severe political risk in the form of civil unrest in Ethiopia. This has been the Thompson Cast. I am Mel Thompson.